Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to my September wrap-up. I just decided to, do these monthly wrap-ups again, at least for a while. Probably, until the end of the year, and next year I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, what kind of format I'm gonna choose. This is gonna be sort of like a quick video because the majority of these books didn't impress me, so I don't feel like actually talking about them, which is not good. I love to read, but these were not that impressive in a lot of ways, so I'm just not gonna waste my time with explaining, a lot about them, just how I felt about them and all that. So the first book that I managed to read in September was The Rook by Danielle O'Malley. This is sort of like a paranormal urban fantasy type of book. There's a bit of mystery in it as well. So at the beginning of the book we meet this woman who wakes up surrounded by dead bodies, and they're all wearing latex gloves, and there's a letter telling her that she sort of found herself in a body that was previously inhabited by someone else. And throughout the book we sort of find out how she got to be there, who she was previously, and basically we try to figure out alongside with her who tried to kill her. And it was a fun read, but I don't know, I don't feel like reading the sequel, definitely not. There was a lot of these letters that were left for her, and it's a gimmick that is used throughout the book and you get sort of tired of it. I didn't really care that much for the character. I don't know, I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep this book, honestly, to tell you the truth. Maybe, I don't know, I'm conflicted, but if you're looking for something like this, definitely pick it up. But it was definitely not my favorite book of the month. Which was my favorite book of the month is this one, Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. This is a book that I wholeheartedly recommend. Everybody probably should pick it up, and it's a book that everyone will sort of relate to in some way or another. Basically we follow a family, their eldest daughter just disappeared and they have no idea where she went, what happened to her. And throughout the story we also see a lot of flashbacks that bring us sort of to the present situation that the family is facing. There's a lot of just family conflict in it, a lot of miscommunication, just actually not talking and communicating with each other for reasons everybody's sort of keeping secrets. And it's, as I said, very relatable, very impactful, and I really loved it. It took me a while to get to it because I've had it for years, literally years. I think basically since the year it came out, and I don't know why it took me so long, because everybody's been raving about this book for years, and it really is great, and definitely a keeper. Then I read Just One Damn Thing After Another by Jodi Taylor. This is sort of, again, it takes place in our current time, so it's a contemporary, but it deals with a lot with the past because there's time travel involved. And at the beginning of the book we meet this woman. She is sort of like an intelligent woman that, oh, what am I saying? She just, I don't know, finished some program and she's looking for a new job, and she's contacted by this institution and she goes there for an interview, and she gets, the job, and afterwards she basically finds out that she's going to be a time traveler and going back into the past to sort of witness events, certain historical events, but their mission is to basically only witness and not get entangled into anything. And there's also a bunch of other characters that work, people of course, that work in this institution, and it's just a hot mess. There's a lot of humor in this one and I really enjoyed it. Some of the characters are really annoying, some are great, and it's a 9-book series right now, and I definitely will continue on with it, but it's a series that, I don't feel like I need to have the sequel right now, so eventually I will get to it, because I did enjoy it. Then I listened to The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss on Scribd, and that one is a historical YA book that features a lot of female descendants of certain well-known fictional characters such as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Frankenstein, Dr. Moreau and such. And for some reason, at the beginning of the book we meet Mary Mary Jekyll, and she just lost her mother, and she's trying to figure out how she will perceive in life, because she is basically poor, she doesn't have any money, and she sort of just stumbles into this situation where she gets entangled into this mysterious murder, and there's Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, and also she meets a bunch of these girls that are sort of in a similar situation to hers, but not circumstantially, but because their fathers were involved in this society, and they would all sort of experiment on their daughters, and they sort of stumble into that, all these ladies, and try to figure out what's going on. I have to say it was not my favorite book at all. I was bored most of the time, so I think that I've heard people talk positively about it, and honestly I can't say that I can. It was fun while I listened to it, but it didn't, honestly, yes, it was fun, parts of it, but it didn't intrigue me enough actually to even care about these characters. So, not sure. I probably will listen to the sequel, but I'm never gonna buy them, sadly. And then the next book that I read was Blood and Sand by C.W. Wick, which is sort of a Spartacus retelling, in which Spartacus is sort of a girl, and she, at the beginning of the book, she is sort of sold as a slave. She's from Thrace, and she's a princess. She was a princess there, but of course now she's a slave, and she's given to this gladiator, and we sort of follow her. She stumbles through this situation, and she definitely doesn't like it. And all in all, it was an okay read, but I didn't care for the character, any of them actually, and I don't know, YA books lately are just not, well, not lately, for a while actually, they just don't grip me, and I just find them a lot, boring and the same, and nothing of interest happened here, at least for me. I'm not saying that, it doesn't interest other people, but it was not surprising in any way, and I couldn't care less about it, honestly. Sadly. And the end was really abrupt and just ended, and of course there's a sequel. At least I assume there's a sequel, otherwise I would be really mad if I liked the book. And then I also reread, but I listened to it this time, to The Silver Mask by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare, the last book in the Magisterium. This is book 4 in the Magisterium series, which is a middle grade series about Colum Hunt. He's mage, but his father, throughout his life has told him that magic is bad and that he should just avoid it. And when in book 1 we see him go to the Ivern trial, in which he would find out whether or not he can go to this Magisterium, which is the magical school in this book. He tries to fail and does so, but despite that he's accepted, and throughout the series we then follow his life there, and also a lot of other stuff happens because there's also somebody, like an evil guy, and somehow it's all connected, of course. So this was book 4, and I re-listened to it because book 5 came out I don't know, last month, and I of course want to finish the series, but I was sort of foggy about the details towards the end of the book, and I wanted to refresh myself, and I did. Definitely not my favorite book in the series, and honestly, just looking back now on the series, as at least of what I read of it, this is really nothing special. And it's enjoyable. I think as a middle grader I would really like it, but there are better middle grade books out there, I think, and as much as I like Cassandra Clare's books, for the most part, this is definitely not my favorite, and yeah, I just wanted to reread it so I can move on to the last book in the series. So basically that's a really quick wrap-up of the previous month. As you can see, I was not impressed by these books at all. Oh, I missed one more. How could I do that? I also want to talk about, I also read Lethal White by, not Cormoran Strike, but Robert Galbraith, which is the 4th book in the Cormoran Strike series, and I was really excited for this one because I'm a huge fan of this series, and I like the book. Cormoran and Robin are solving another crime. This very disturbed boy comes to see Cormoran and tells him about some past experience where he witnessed a murder, and he's actually well, he's mentally ill, so he's very upset, and Cormoran then doesn't know whether or not what the boy tells him about actually happened, or was it his delusion, or just a child sort of jumbling up memories and coming up with a murder. So he decides to investigate, despite the fact that he's really not sure that anything actually happened. And as he does that, he sort of gets entangled into another case, and it was an interesting case, a lot of fun. But of course, what I like most about these books is the relationship between Cormoran and Robin, and given what happened in the previous book, I was very much intrigued to see what happens next, and it's a hot mess. I didn't really care for the situation that Robin put herself into, but and I've read some reviews where people complain, why did she do that and all that, but honestly, just from life experience, it's not that easy. And yes, if you're looking from the situation from the outside, it's a lot easier to find solutions and all that. But all in all, I did enjoy it. I think it sort of made sense. Everything sort of made sense, and I really enjoyed the book. Of course, I would recommend it because I'm a fan of the series, although I know that a lot of people aren't, but to each his own. But yeah, so there were positive elements to this month reading wise, and this was definitely one of them. And now really to wrap this video up, as I said, I didn't want to just drag it because I didn't enjoy a lot of these books, and I will see how this month turns out. And until then, until my next video at least, thank you for watching this one, and see you in my next one. Bye!